Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Today's Reps, an extension of the H3 Leader podcast, where my intent is to offer a couple quick thoughts for your consideration. Came across a quote the other day, went something like this: when the ideas are flowing, it's time to create. But when you feel dry, when the ideas are not flowing, that's the time to read. Or in my translation, that gather inputs of any kind, podcasts, conversations, to bring things in, to stimulate the mind and the heart around creating. But we've all had those experiences likely when the ideas are just popping. That is the time to get things done as efficiently and well as possible. Get things on the ground, document those things, build a list, all those fun things. But there are times when we're just feeling dry, when it's not there. Then what do? We've got to stimulate the brain, stimulate the heart, gather those inputs. One of the things I try to do in my life and the lives of my clients and others is to keep a steady flow of that stimulation in one way or another, so that we don't ever get bone dry. You know, there are times when they're popping, and even then, good time to still have some steady flow of input that allows me to process and think, and maybe even give my mind a break from all that activity that's going on internally. That's one of the things we do with our Convene teams. Is we have a once a month gathering of business executive leaders, CEOs, presidents, owners, and we have a time of mental and emotional and spiritual stimulation where we can get ideas started, contemplate things that are already going on in our hearts and minds. But it is that steady drip that has so much value. Once a month, month in, month out, we're going to gather together, we're going to convene in community, and we're going to speak into one another. We're going to learn from one another. We're going to grow, and we're going to get those centers of ideation moving. And it's that steady flow, I believe, that has so much power and so much value. So my encouragement to you is to figure out a way in your life, in your business, in your life, and even in your faith, to take advantage of the creative times when the ideas are flowing, get those things documented, get things off the ground, get things moving. But to realize we're going to have some dry times, and maybe even if we could figure out a rhythm, if we could figure out something that could keep those dry times to a minimum, because we are consistently bringing input into our lives, that's a healthy place to be from a perspective of rhythm. And by the way, if you want to know anything more about what we're doing at Convene, I'd love to have a conversation with you. But that's my thought for today. We're not going to do it perfectly, but as you know, we can get 1% better every single day, can't we? Because we know, in this little circle anyway, that every day is training day. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye for now.